Let's do it.
Let's do it. So much for joining me today.
Okay.
Do you want to start just introducing yourself?
My name is Dave Hume, and I'm 74 years young. I, 7 years ago, I had a stroke, and it was pretty bad. How my stroke happened? We went to the eye doctors. My peripheral eyesight was. We went to the eye doctors, and he said something's wrong. You need to go to the emergency room right now. So so we went to the ER, and they admitted me into the ICU. The next day, about four, they took a lot of tests, and it was a lot of different tests and stuff. About 4 o'clock in the afternoon, something was wrong, and I heard the nurse says, "Are you okay?" And I said, the next thing I heard, he's having a stroke. Call the supervisor. So since I was a when when I and okay, here we go.
It's all right.
Okay, okay. So I when I was laying down, and all of a sudden the doctors were asking me a lot of questions, and I said I cannot talk, and that's bad for me because I love to talk. So so then that next day they went to the ICU, and then Karen Pingle was my speech pathologist. Met her second or 3 days after my speech, after my stroke, and she asked me a couple of little questions, and so I didn't really know what she was talking about, but she says that you have aphasia, and well, I said, well, can you fix it? No, once you have aphasia, it's forever. So, but you can heal. You can get better. So,
Oh my
um,
goodness. Then you figured out really quickly, I can't talk. I can't
right.
talk the way I used to talk.
Mm.
And it sounds like understanding was also really hard.
Oh
Understanding other
yes.
people.
I couldn't read, speak, or write. It took me several months to do that.
Wow. So you met Karen, your speech pathologist.
Right.
What did you say? 2 or 3 days?
2 days afterward, yes.
Wow. So tell me more about that, about what Karen said, you got aphasia, but we're going to work on it.
Yes. And and she asked me a couple of questions. She showed me a cup and a pen, and I looked at her. What is that? I don't understand. What's the question? What you know what a cup? No, I know what a cup is. I think, but a pen. I'm not really sure. You want me to write something, or I don't know. I just was messed up.
What are you asking me?
Yeah. Oh man.
Wow. So how long were you in the hospital? Do you
I
remember?
was in 6 days in the ICU and 5 days in the main hospital.
Okay. And then
And then
did you
after that,
go,
I went
oh,
to the ICU, a rehabilitation center, 3 weeks for that.
three
Three
weeks
weeks, right?
in rehab?
Yeah.
Okay. So I bet there was a lot going on. You were working hard, I'm
Yes, I was.
sure, and adjusting to this major, major thing that's happened.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that do you remember this time frame, this hospital or the rehab experience?
I had 4 classes: physical training and doing some exercises, and ICU. I mean, the other one was play games and different stuff like that, and the other one was reading. I mean, Imelda was my teacher, and she played vision therapy, and she was, and I did it every day, and and I started to get get better, and so then speech therapist was my favorite one. It was Karyn, and Karyn and other speaker, I mean, other teachers that she invited to help me. So she knew that I was bad. So they tried to help me.
So you had a lot of different kinds of therapy, like
Oh yeah,
physical
yeah,
therapy, and you had some vision therapy
right,
also. Okay. And then speech therapy with
right,
Karyn and with a few other therapists.
yes,
And then so after you finished rehab and they said, "Okay, Dave, you're ready to go home."
all right,
What happened next?
okay. Karen says that we went back home, and I had to go to the hospital to 4 days a week. It's only about 15 minutes from our house, and I had 4 or 5 different sessions each day, 4 days a week.
Wow.
And no, that's that's the VA hospital. It's just unbelievable what they do. But and then I started to learn to speak a little bit.
So you got so that's a pretty intense
Oh
treatment,
yeah.
4 days a week at the
Hmm.
VA, and they were putting you through your paces, I would
Oh
guess,
yeah. But I
trying
loved
to
it
get
though.
you loved it? Was it
Yes, I
hard?
did.
Was it hard?
Yeah. So well, I had a tell me a little bit about myself. When I played football when I was in high school,
What
and
position did you play on the team?
I was a linebacker. I was on my senior year. I was the defensive captain on linebacker for the whole team, and
Excellent.
then also played offense too. In those years, you played both. The good guys played offense and defense. You don't do that anymore. They think it's just one or one or two.
So you had some broad skills, I think.
Yes, I did.
That's very good. So Eastern Kentucky was where you went for college.
Yes, I did.
And then at some point you also were in the Navy.
Yes, I started in the Navy. It was the best thing I ever did. But I spent 6 years in the Navy,
Hmm.
and then after that, I went back. When I graduated from college, I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I always worked by myself, and it started in the landscaping business, and started cutting grass, and I really enjoyed doing it by myself.
But what I'm getting, Dave, is you've always been a hard worker
Yes,
and you have taken the lead as
yes,
in starting your own business and
hmm,
being the one that does the work. You were the
right.
boss and you were doing the work.
You're right.
I hear a work ethic in there, big time.
Hmm. But Karen knew that. She knew that she knows my story, and she knew what I was. I was very motivated to learn how to speak again.
So that's so important. So Karen, your speech therapist,
Mm.
she got to know you and she was like,
Oh,
this guy is a hard worker and he is
oh,
motivated.
right.
Let's really build on that. So
Good.
what did that look like when you were working together with Karen? How did that look?
Oh, Karen was so brilliant to tell you. She she was a speech pathologist. Right now, she is the boss. And she's the captain of the team 8 years later, 7 years later. She she's she is the boss.
Wow. Karen knows what she's doing, clearly.
Yes, yes, she does.
So when you and Karen would work together, do you thinking about it, what would she do, Dave, that would help motivate you? Did you have moments when you felt frustrated? Like, oh, I know what this is. It just won't come out.
Oh
Did she
yeah, you're
have
right.
strategies that motivated you to keep going?
Karen always said, never quit. No matter what happens, you're never quit. And she would always encourage me. When I became a speech pathologist, I mean, a motivational speaker, she was my cheerleader and my leader.
So she's
Okay.
been a major motivator for you.
Oh, unbelievable.
For this, so your stroke was 7 years ago.
Hmm.
So in those 7 years, Karen, it sounds like, has been right alongside you, cheering for you and motivating you.
Unbelievable. All the time. She was
That's
the
so
one that helped
great.
me be a motivational speaker.
She saw what you could do.
Right. Original when Karen invited me to the doctors at the VA hospital, and I told my story, and after that, I told her, I said to Karen, I might want to talk to other people. So she decided, let's be a motivational speaker, and we talked to the students.
That is great. So Dave, who like tell me a bit about you as a motivator, a motivational speaker. You're an educator. Tell me about that. That's great.
All right. Several years ago, I gave my testimony to our church, and my talk was so smooth, and I really felt integrity. I was so proud of talking to the people, and we worked. My Kathy and I worked with the kids, and I hated kids in the beginning, but we started working with the kids, and we became teachers. She, we became teachers, first or second grade teachers.
Oh my gosh. So it really kind of it bloomed from speaking to your church to doing
Yeah,
other roles as a educator or a speaker, a leader.
yeah,
Yeah. And so you've what you have talked with students about your experience
right.
and maybe other places you have
Yeah,
talked about your story.
I had almost 20 speeches from different varieties of Washington, California, all the store, all the is eastern states, Georgia, University of Georgia, Florida State, all the different schools in Florida, Maryland, different schools all around the country.
That is fantastic. So you know what makes me think of? So nobody wants to have a stroke.
No,
That's clear, right? But I'm so impressed, Dave, with you through this not great situation. You've actually touched a lot of people.
I hope so.
People that you wouldn't have ordinarily touched or reached out to or
Yeah,
connected with or educated. And that is such an amazing silver lining of
Mm.
your stroke experience, the impact that you've had.
I'm very, very proud of that, though.
Absolutely. Um, can you say a little bit about kind of thinking about your aphasia and the
Mm.
challenges of not knowing what you want to say, but having it not come out the way you want? So, what has helped you in those moments of challenge with aphasia?
I try to slow down a little bit.
Mhm.
You know that I'm a good talker, and even Karyn says that Dave will talk to anybody. We go to the grocery store, and if a guy's wearing a cap for the the army or something, congratulations. And we'll go to the park and talk to everybody. So some guy don't want to talk to somebody. I'm proud to talk to tell them that I having a stroke and I'm a motivational speaker.
So you are naturally a talker. You like to
Yes,
connect with people. That was true probably before your stroke, after your stroke.
exactly.
That is Dave through and through.
You're right.
Have there been moments, maybe early in your stroke, after your stroke, where you felt embarrassed or too frustrated? Or did you always feel as motivated to talk as you do
You
now?
know, Thanksgiving and Christmas, we have other members of our party. I mean, our family, and people talk so fast, and I just clam up a little bit. And I when I hear something, I'll contribute, but I it's so everybody talks so fast. But in our under a different book club, we have a book club every week, and the Karen started doing it years ago, and I talk to I love to talk to the students. I mean, to the other members. There's about 5 or 6 guys in our club, and I love to talk anything.
So is that book club through the VA, or is it a
Yes,
different
it's
group?
yeah, yes.
Okay, that's great. So in those situations where you're at a big family gathering
Mm,
and things are going fast,
mm,
it's hard to keep up. It's hard to
you're right.
process all of that when it's coming at you so fast. Is there something that you say sometimes to kind of remind people to slow down so that you can get in there on the conversation?
My wife is an angel. She she slows. She said, "Let's talk about this." Or what were we talking about, Dave? And so she reminds me so what I'm doing, and but I don't care. But I'm not embarrassed, but being not being able to talk very good. This is what it is.
You're not embarrassed, you're gonna move forward. You gotta be you. You
You're
gotta be
right.
you, and you've got people to connect with, and you've got conversations to have.
Hmm.
You're not letting the aphasia slow you down.
Not at all.
That's great. That's great. I'm sure you've met others with aphasia who feel
Yeah.
and I understand it. They feel embarrassed. They
Right.
feel hesitant, um, frustrated, and so they don't talk or they don't put themselves in situations to connect. What advice would you give to them?
Well, you had a stroke. You can't change that. So you got to live with it and be best you can do what you did. And it's just I feel sorry that people that don't talk very much, and there's a lot of guy in a book club and people that I've met in the VA hospital, but I feel so sorry for them. But I was so fortunate to what what the VA hospital did for me is unbelievable, and I know that I'm lucky, and everybody is not that lucky.
This is true. This is a good point. You have access to a lot of really great,
Mm,
intense aphasia services.
mhm.
Karyn and the therapies that you did were great. And I also hear you saying, A, one, that you accept your stroke. I think you said it is what it is.
Right,
It's, you can't change it. It's just the way it is. And you have not let that challenge stop you from being you and doing the things that are important to you. So it's the acceptance, and it's kind of that determination and motivation to go on with life, enjoy life.
right,
That seems really clear to me from your how you describe everything.
right.
Um, are there other things that we haven't touched on that inspire you in your life with your aphasia? Or Karyn sounds like an inspiration. Your
Oh, yeah,
wife is
my
helps
wife.
you, or other things that inspire and motivate you.
Well, I started playing golf when I was 10 years old, and now I'm going to the internet, and my game has gotten so much better at 74 years old. And I read different things on different Ben Hogan and different likes, and it's so plain right now. I didn't get it before, but I've got it now. And wish I was 50 years old like that, but I'm doing it every day. We play every Thursday, and I go to the driving range on Tuesday. So my life is committed about playing good golf.
I love
And
that. So keeping active, Dave, it has been
yeah,
a motivator for you, especially golf. So
mm,
talking with others, like book club, working with Karyn, getting out, playing golf, life, like getting into it and keep and doing the things you love.
exactly, because I, even though I had a stroke, and I'm not going to slow down.
You've
Yeah,
you've
God,
worked, you healed, and you've worked your way back to the things that are important, like golf.
right,
It's so important. You've had a lot of experience with treatment, with different
right.
types of therapies. Can you say a little bit about advice that you would give clinicians about working with people with aphasia?
In my speech is 35 minutes, and I talk to the students about it, how to be a speech pathologist, and I give them a lot of different that I have learned from Karyn, and she helped me, but it's my speech is my words, and I would just say that you have to be very, very patient with an
Mm.
aphasia student, because you never really know. I mean, you didn't know whether they really heard what you're talking about, and you have to be very patient. You have to be friendly. You have to be patient and very, very friendly, because
Well, so Karyn, to go back to Karyn, something that Karyn does as a clinician from what you've said. She really gets to know her clients,
Right.
and so she's building, you knew I can trust Karyn. And when Karyn says, come on, Dave, let's go, you're like, okay, let's go.
You're right.
Because Karyn is interested in me getting better and me as a person.
Right.
I think
You're right.
that's big advice for clinicians about getting to know your patient.
Exactly. That's exactly what you're talking about right there. Get to know your person, the patient.
It makes a huge difference.
Right.
Makes a huge difference. I think that's a really important takeaway that it seems really clear from your experience.
Hmm.
Um, is there anything else that you want to say about what you've learned in these last 7 years about navigating your life with aphasia?
All I think about, never, Karyn said, never quit. And that's why I've progressed, because I never quit, especially in the VA hospital. And I was I was so thirsty of the of the information they were giving to me, and it it wasn't that hard. I mean, it was very friendly, but the VA hospital is just unbelievable. What they did for me is I can't explain it really. Um,
You're grateful for the care you received.
oh
It's
God,
made a huge difference for you.
yes,
That's
it
great.
is.
That's great. Well, let's wrap it up. But Dave, thank you so much for spending time chatting with me today. I know why you're a motivational speaker. You're very motivating. I appreciate your story. I could probably spend 3 more hours with you chatting, but there might be some golf to do or other things on the day. So thank you.
All right, thank you.
Hey, I'm just so impressed with everything that what Dave was telling me and the partnership the two of you have. So it's great.
He has been a true inspiration from the first day. One of the things I always share is that, as the spouse, you're in shock and you're facing the reality that life is now different and it's not going to ever be the same. And so you're facing many, many, many realities with that.
Right.
But I can remember very specifically that I think it was just a couple nights after the stroke. And I was with him, and in that moment, we communicated. Mm-hmm. He had no words. But we were able to communicate. And that was I don't want to say it was a relief because there was much more to come, but it gave me the basis of having confidence that we would continue and it would be fine. It would not be the same, but it would be fine. So,
well, thank you both so much. Dave, thank you for everything. Kathy, thank you for jumping in and sharing a little bit.
I know. Can't you just leave that out?
I hear you, Kathy.
Too much information.
Too much.
Because we got it. Everyone needs more Dave, I think. So